afternoon, my friends. Whether you are here in the live studio audience or whether you are watching back at home, we are so glad to have you here in the room with us for your very first all-access pass. My name is Jason. I'm your cruise host, and it is an honor to be sitting here with our first set of stars for the week. These three individuals right here have been performing on and off stages since the time they could walk, and it is high time we got them on the Malt Shop Memories Cruise. Do me a favor, everybody, give it up, get loud for Bob, Paul, and Susan, otherwise known as the Cowsills.
Thank you, guys. We are so excited to be here. Oh, that's going to happen. It's okay, I got you. So,
You can only put siblings on stage for so frequent, you know,
we're good.
you know where it's going to go.
We have a little
for about
4 or 5 minutes.
Listen, this guy right here stands next to me on stage. He's gonna knock me out one night with a
One of these
blow to the
days,
head while
yes.
he's ending a song. Good Lord.
We typically put Bob between Susan and Paul just for the energy breakup, but we're going to see what happens
But
here.
today I would like to point out that we are broken up because it is T-shirt day.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Use a microphone, sir. You're a performer. You know
Bob
this.
didn't want to sit beside me because I had my T-shirt on. I told him, well, it's T-shirt day.
It looked like we talked last night, so I didn't want that.
And then if I take my hat off, we look like twins.
And then if they don't have me, people think they're like Ted Danson as twins.
Or Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler, whatever.
It used to be Bob Barker.
I think he's kind of Robert Culp, but anyway.
Okay, Robert Cole.
I'm just going to sit out there with you and let this go. This is its own show, and I love it. Use the microphone, sir. Good
I
Lord.
want to let you know, right? Well, see, and
I'm
I
coming
know
out.
that all of you guys deal with the same thing that I deal with. I forgot what I was going to ask.
You guess what? In like 2 years from now, I'll have to sit here on account of.
Yes, I have been mistaken for Tim Kukurchian. Is that his last name? The sports guy?
Yes.
On an
Yes.
airplane. A guy leaves and looks at me. Have you been on TV? Well, I've been on TV. So I say yes, but he doesn't think it's me. He thinks I'm the sports announcer. He goes, I see you all the time. In my head, I'm going, I'm not on all the time, but I guess he reruns stuff. And this guy, and finally he gives it away. You know, like, man, I just love your sports program. And I have a sports program.
What I want to know is, does
And I
that...
look like him. I went and found him on TV. Oh my
You
God.
do. You do look
Okay,
like
okay,
Tim
but-
Burton.
bit.
do you guys think that people come up to him and go, good God, you look like Bob Cowsill from the Cowsills?
No.
No. I was stopped by a cop once, and I was very famous at the time. And I was going 100 miles an hour out down the freeway, and he looked at me and said, you know, I'm going to give you a break, but don't speed. And just as he's going back to his car, I said, man, I got a break. He goes, hey, I love you on the Andy Williams show. He thought I was an Osmond. That's a true story.
Amazing story. I've never heard that. See,
It's
thank
true.
you guys.
Well, it's funny too because we've done the Fenway national anthem and all this, and we were there early one time, and all these people were looking at me, and I'm saying to these guys, man, they could not possibly know that I'm in the Cowsills. So who would want to know that? And so, but it kept going on, and people were coming up and just staring
Shaking
at
his
me.
hand. We're in the stand. We're in
Yeah.
our seats at Fenway.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we realized, I guess I looked like Bill Lee. I had long hair, and
Yeah. We looked him up in our seats. He looked like we were with Bill Lee.
yeah.
And
Well, one time somebody came up to me and said, could you do that Bang Bang song again? They thought I was Cher. I just made that up because nobody ever said anything to me.
Somebody wanted to participate.
there was no sharing here.
Thank you, Mary Ann on Gilligan's
All
Island.
right, we'd like to turn the show over back
To our
over
host,
to Jason.
Jason.
No.
Jason Cowsill, I hear.
I forgot I was here. I thought I was over there somewhere. This is fantastic. Well, let's do a little bit of homework before we jump into more stories. Let's go back. And Bob, I'm gonna lean on you.
Pick the oldest.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
Lean on him.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
You guys, tell us about the early days and how does the whole concept come together with Minnie Mom and Bud? and
Okay,
everybody?
listen fast. So when I was 7 and Bill was 8, we had found our dad brought home 2 guitars, little 4-string guitars that we took to and learned to play. And we were performing by the age of 12 and 11. We were on Spotlight on Talent on the Gene Carroll show in Cleveland, Ohio. We lost to a magician, but we were singing Everly Brothers, Baby Blue.
The things
2
you
guitars,
remember.
2 young boys. Then we got into folk music. That was a big deal. Now that's our biggest step because this is early 60s. We're going into folk music. We're playing at Hootenannies. All the songs are long. The nights are long. It's horrific, let me tell you. But now the Beatles pop into everybody's lives, and we're part of the large group at the age that they got us right at the right time. We're okay, we need 4 of us, but we're on Newport, Rhode Island's island. There's no musicians, so we look from within the family. Hey, John's 7, Barry's 8, let's put them in the band. So we got to force them.
Breathe, Bob, breathe. Breathe. You told me to remind you to breathe.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
We changed our hair to the Beatles look. We buy Vox amplifiers, Gretsch guitars, and Ludwig drums. And we're the Beatles for years. And we're going to get signed now, the 4 brothers. But then we're going to get signed and drop to 2 labels before we're out of grade school and high school. And then Artie Kornfeld, who we met in one of the second drop labels, he writes the Rain in the Park and other things with Steve Dubois for us, takes us into the studio. We record it. They bring us. Somebody said put Mom in the band right about here, and we still can't.
We don't know who it was.
We're still dealing with that, but Mom's in the band, and we have a big million to celebrate in the park and other things in 1967, and that was the pathway to that.
What do you got there, Jay?
That was impressive. That was the entire
Oh,
history.
come to
of
our
the
show.
Cowsills.
We can give you our musical career in 12 minutes.
Yeah. We can.
4 hits.
Come tonight and see how we pull
3
it
minutes,
off.
right? 3 minutes. And that's only 12 minutes, 3-minute songs. They only had 4. What did they do? Well, you have to come to the show tonight at 10:30 at Poolside.
Yeah.
Now, is 10:30 too late for you all?
No.
All right, then we'll see you
Isn't
there.
that after the 5th nap of the day? Because it is for me.
Yeah.
Right
So
around-
we'll see you at the show tonight. Thank you.
They will have hot cocoa dispensers all over the place.
Hot cocoa.
I promise we're going to let Jason talk.
I'm not here to talk. You're here to talk.
All right, Q&A.
You're
oh,
here to
no,
talk.
I answered a question. Go ahead.
You did, and of course the next step is, how did you get the youngins in the band? How did the whole you got these whippersnappers
There
next
was
to you
nothing
here.
to do.
Yeah, I can even answer this.
Go ahead, Susan.
It's like we don't have a life and we don't have friends, and so you just get the next guy in the room to play with you, and if it happens to be your little sister, you just suck it up and do it.
And she didn't have friends.
And I
She's
didn't
got
have friends.
6 brothers above her that have a lot of friends.
Yeah, they have.
Which is why we really didn't get to know her till later in
Yeah,
life.
I
But
don't really know him now. You'll find out later. Do come out.
she's a good girl.
Thank you very
And
much.
I thought I was going to be able to play Major League Baseball or the NFL, and I was really into that. And, I even had it worked out a little bit with my own man that, hey, you'll just leave me behind, and I'll stay with the family, and I'll do what I want. And and it was funny. When I asked that, he went, oh, yeah, we'll do that. And I'm thinking, oh, this will be great, And then the day that bus left from Halladen Hall, I went up, I go, so what am I doing? He goes, get on the bus. So I was in the band right away.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm glad you were in the band or home, because if you had stayed home, then I could have stayed home, because frankly, that would have been okay with me. But it just wasn't supposed
Susan
to be.
is connecting the points here,
Yeah,
isn't she?
I learn a lot on these
Mom's
cruises.
in the band. What do you do with the 6-year-old, 7-year-old kid in the house? Well,
Put her in the band. It's not like they liked me, thought I was any good. It had nothing. It's put
they
her
knew
in
where
the
you
back.
were.
But you are still, please correct me, you are still, Susan, the youngest person with a top 10 hit in history, correct?
That, I believe,
Still,
and a
yeah.
top gold record.
Top gold record.
And Ed Sullivan, the youngest female performing artist, because, and I will always be, y'all, because I just can't picture another 8-year-old. And like when the ladies, the young singers, the Miley Cyrus, the Britneys, all the ladies who my kids loved, these guys, they were all, and Miranda kept going, Mommy, they're like you. I'm like, no, kid, they're not.
No kid.
I'm the only one like me, honey.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like a dinosaur, like, she's the Pterodactyl pop girl 60s, because there was only one. Remember when you showed up, okay, and they threw Haley Mills in there. Times were hard in the beginning, but we all made it.
And then, the Partridge Family.
Yes, may I have your piece of paper that came
Oh, the one that has
May
that?
I
Hang
have
on.
this? I'm going to perform a psychic act. Oh, yes.
A what?
See if I can
I'll
do it.
find it while someone else. Oh,
All
Okay,
right.
well, the Partridge Family,
Thank you. Okay.
Good,
Go ahead,
Paul.
Paul. I am. Can you? All right. Well,
she's been
tell them who
practicing
the
this,
Partridge
Paul.
Family
Go
is.
ahead,
well,
Paul.
I'll tell you about
What's the
Partridge
connection?
Family.
What's the connection?
We were supposed to be the actors in the Partridge Family, and we went to Screen Gems one evening, and we were all sitting in there, and they didn't want our mom. They wanted Shirley Jones, who's a beautiful person, by the way, and we just love her to death.
True that.
But it was her vehicle, literally, and we were going to be the kids as she was our mom, and that wasn't going to cut it.
No.
And then they thought, well, we'll just take the little girl.
Thank you for getting that in.
Because she was cute, she could play tambourine.
I'll go back to my psychic work. Go.
But that wasn't going to work either, because
Either.
we are a family, and
We didn't want to do the show anyway. We were touring and recording artists at the time, successful ones. And when you're 19 and 17, we think this is forever. We know how to do this, right? And so we didn't want to go to a studio every day and do a TV show. And so we're real happy they turned us down.
Yeah, but the funny thing about the Partridge Family was that so in the 70s, we all decided to have kids and raise them and kind of back off music for a point. You know, we'll always do an album every decade, but it was our opportunity to raise our kids.
Every decade, I love that. Every
Yeah.
decade we'll pop out an album.
Kind of how it was. But so all during the 70s and really even into the 80s, the Partridge Family were killing it on TV, which made it so in all the interviews that the Partridge Family had to do, the guy would go, "Hey, yeah, so the inspiration is from the Cowsills, right?" So our name was mentioned every
All the time.
time.
You're
all
here
through the
because of them.
70s.
And the
Yes.
little story that went with it.
We believe that.
Now,
that
and today it went full circle because today now we're being asked about them.
We
And
are.
back then they were
which
asked
brings
about
us to this
Crazy.
psychic moment.
A
I'm
psychic
going-
moment by Susan Cowsills.
Thank
Susan
you.
Cowsills been working on this.
I have. I'll
Show us your
say I do.
talent.
All right, so Gary from Kettering, Ohio is out there. Do not move, Gary. But Gary
Bob.
wants to know, and I'm going to try and find Gary. He's my sound guy.
It's Bob.
Gary wants
That's
to
a
know
nice
when I'm going to take over for that Reuben guy. Now, that Reuben guy happens
Who knows
to
who
be-
Reuben is?
Hands who knows who Reuben might be on the Malt Shop.
Yell it out.
All right.
Nope.
Alan? Nope.
No, guys.
Not Alan
Check
Rubens.
this out. And I'm new on the Malt Shop, so I might learn a very big lesson. Okay, I feel like Gary is maybe somewhere over here. Gary, are you in this section? Fine. Gary, are you in this section? Come see me sing, because I'm blowing it as a psychic. Gary, did you write the thing and leave? Are you over here, Gary?
Gary's right there.
Gary.
Good call. Nicely done, psychic.
Thank you. That was my last choice. Thank you. Thank you. Can I get on here maybe next year as a psychic for the Malt Shoppers? Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll kill it.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's talking about Reuben Kincaid.
Reuben Kincaid. Is that correct, Gary?
Oh, it
you
is
were
Alan.
talking about.
It
So
is
when am I
Alan.
taking over for Star Vista Boss? This is a
think
better day
Reuben-
than I thought.
He won America's Got Talent?
It's a
Or?
big day.
Hey, listen, I'm your boss all of a sudden.
She's not a good business person.
Okay, so fast forward and we'll get rid of me. I thought he meant Reuben Kincaid, who was the manager for the Partridge Family. And here is a trivia for you. I was watching one of the
Called
that-
episodes.
No. It was an interview about the Partridges with the people who created the show.
Ooh.
And the two guys, Sherwood Forrest, you know, the Brady Bunch guy, whatever his name is, he's sitting there and he says, "We killed off the Cowsills' father in the Partridge Family because he was such a pain in the butt to work with." And I'm sitting there going, well done. Because, I mean, they can do whatever they want. Yes, no, for real. Sherwood Forrest, that man. Come on, y'all.
So
Sherwood Schwartz, who wrote The Partridge Family,
Oh.
is on one of those documentaries.
Paul said Sherwood Forest.
You know, anyway,
That's where Robin Hood is from.
So, to answer your question, when am I taking over for Reuben? As soon as I get a little tete-a-tete with him and see what it is I need to do. Can you hook me up?
I got you.
All right.
It'll be never.
And Gary,
in,
don't
in
think
the,
I'll forget.
in the spirit of anything can happen, would you hire us for all cruises?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You'll be on the country cruise next, and then
Hey,
Soul
we can
Train.
do country.
Then Soul Train. It's going to be a good run for you guys.
Take a little bit longer. Me to ever get to
This isn't an audition. This is not an audition. Not your audition. Your audition comes later in private.
Sorry.
Don't ruin it here.
Watch, we get a letter from Reuben asking
Yeah,
us
Alex.
to exit St. Martin.
Kiss an angel, good morning.
Could I just, I'm sorry, just
No, you're
one
fine.
last thing on this
Yeah.
Reuben thing. So, who are we talking about?
Alan Rubens.
Alan.
Alan.
Our boss,
Alan.
Alan.
Alan. This
Oh,
Alan.
We
I thought-
only know him as Alan.
I know.
It's
everybody-
a guy on,
I don't
And
know
a
Reuben. I
sandwich.
don't know the
Alan.
guy's last name. He's
Alan
just my
Rubens.
boss.
yes, okay. I thought he meant the voice.
It's
Reuben.
Alan, Mike, Jason, Maureen.
Yeah,
You know,
all
we're
the
just
people.
first name bases around here. But good to know my boss's last name. And thanks, Gary.
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
never going to
let's
take
move it
over.
along. Look, go ahead, Jason.
So Nita, where are you, Nita? Nita's back over there. Comes to us from Augusta. You could have told us that. She comes to us from Augusta, Georgia. And Nita adores you so much that she's curious, how did you guys get your name?
Well, let me tell you something. We went through what are we going to name our group in the beginning?
The Partridge Family. Yeah.
No,
The Seven Seas was one of them.
the Seven Seas was one. That was cool. I can't remember another one, but I think the lazy way out is what we did. Slap an S on your last name and get going. So
For real, the
Cowsills.
7 Seas was discussed as an alternate name for us?
Absolutely.
I think Susan's upset you didn't take
I
it.
feel all
Susan was 5 years
mermaidy.
old at
I
the time.
could've-
She's not coming to meetings.
But I could have been a mermaid. My head would have gone so many places, guys.
That's why you're the Cowsills and not the Seven Seas.
Yeah.
Purely for Susan.
Just our last name worked, and it was unique, and it was going to lead to the what, and we knew that. C-A-S-T-L-E-S? No.
It's a conversation
No.
starter.
Anyway,
It's great.
That's
Now
it.
Nita feels educated. Sheila comes to us from Seattle.
Oh,
Tell
wait,
Susan, where's
she's right
Sheila?
here in front, man.
Good
I
call.
feel it.
Nicely done.
must be front row.
How many shows a year do you guys do, and how on earth do you keep track of where you've been or where you're going next?
Take the first, I'll take the back.
Go ahead. Paul, you're up. How many shows a year do you guys do?
Oh man, so it's really hard to tell because you're booking as you go. But I mean, there was last summer, I think, or the summer before, we did 100 shows in a year. So we're really up in the 60s and 70s. Bob, you got an actual number? Or
Well, because the summer tour is going to be 60 shows right there.
yeah,
One-nighters. And it's just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
2 buses. We're on the road all summer. And then in the winter, you can have anything like a cruise. We do the Flower Power Cruise. We're on the Malt Shop Cruise. We love the cruises because it's an intimate version of what's going on out there when we're all back home and you're going to a show and we have a meet and greet, everyone goes home. Now everyone just goes to bed and you see it the next day. Big difference. And that's a kind of a spring, winter thing for us. We don't do them in the summer, obviously, and it all fits in with what you guys are up to, that's for sure.
yeah. And I'll just mention, it is hectic. And me, Susan, and Bob, we have a trio show that we can take out, and then we have our band show that we can take out. And
That'll
so
be
the
tonight.
trio show gets booked a lot actually. And so we were in Tomball, Texas, the day before we had to get on the plane to go to Fort Lauderdale. And man, you know,
And
boy,
it-
your head's spinning a lot of that time.
And so, to your point, so we did Happy Together from May to September, and then thank you.
Great
We
tour.
love it.
Phenomenal tour.
And then we do what we call one-offs, which means you go into a town to play one show. It takes about 3 days. You fly.
Like
you play-
November 8th, we're in Vegas at the Golden Nugget.
Correct.
That kind of, the
You
whole
fly
band,
7,
one night.
play 8, go home 9. And
Yeah.
we have done this continuously since September and up till Tomball. So to your point, what do we?
Yeah.
Dude, I will pack my bag at my husband and ours house because he plays with the Cowsills and and we have 5 suitcases in our front room. You lay them down. I'm gonna unpack that. I'm leaving in 3 days. So you move stuff around. Where did I put the Q-tips? Which bag was it? They were in the zippery thing in the purple. You're not in the purple anymore.
Now,
So-
these are the things she deals with to get going. I mean,
Okay,
it's-
so yeah.
The
So-
zippery thing.
It's hard, and I am the youngest in the family. However,
But we're so grateful that we're asked that we say yes, and then we go, all right, we better start working out here.
yeah. Well, hey, can you guys do too? We'll be there. It's like, hey, there's a hike to Mount Everest. We're in.
Performance at the top. Yeah.
I have 26 pounds in my suitcase. That's all I'll ever bring.
Whatever. I'm a mood dresser.
I'm a mood dresser.
I am. I don't know what I'm going to want to wear later.
We're so different.
Thank you.
I love you, Susan, with
I
all
love
my
you
heart.
too, Jay.
All my heart. Cindy comes to us from Nashville. Actually, before Cindy's question, I will add to this. I think one thing that is often overlooked by those of us who don't necessarily tour, like a band does, when you say 60 to 100 dates, it's easy to forget, and musicians will tell you this all the time. It's not the show. It's the travel days before and the travel days after that chew you up.
And the day
you
of.
get paid to do.
Exactly. You get paid to travel. You do the show
Because
because
you
love
don't
it.
want to perform for people and have them give you money. We are hanging out together. We're making a
Yeah.
sound, you're listening, and if you make it, I listen, and that is an exchange that's been going on forever. You know, it's lovely that people like us who can't do anything else can make a living out of it. You know? But, yeah.
Susan, this one is directly for you. Do you know what it's going to be?
What's it like to be the youngest
Yes,
member of the Cowsills?
No, I'm going to answer. Are you ready? Urban Outfitter.
Exactly.
How'd I
That
do?
was.
What is it?
That's amazing.
Shut up. You're lying.
I am lying, but it would have been
She's
great. wouldn't
psychic.
it?
I just kicked over my water. Rusty,
you're
can
not
you get
lying.
a towel right next to you to the right, left, the
Rusty,
other
right
left?
where you're
Clean
sitting.
up
Rusty.
aisle 2.
Go ahead, ask.
I feel like this is common with the youngest Cowsill.
You know, that looks
Oh,
pretty
thanks, buddy.
suspicious.
Been doing this since they were
Thanks,
5.
husband. That's Russ, our drummer,
Hey, Russ.
and my husband. I mean, and
Our drummer.
look, I watched Miss Priscilla crazy
It looks
this
like
morning.
you peed the chair.
I
is
know.
what
wasn't
I
gonna
feel like
say
a
it.
queen who peed the chair. Stop it.
All right, here we go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going down. Thanks, guys.
Susan, you definitely answered the first part, but let's get to the second
Is this
part
for
that you
real?
didn't
Like
predict.
I really am a psychic?
Really a psychic. Cindy comes to us from Nashville. First is a comment. Gary Talley says hello.
Hi, Gare.
Box tops.
Okay.
Box tops.
Love them.
The
Love.
second, what state would you love to retire in?
It had nothing to
Confusion.
do with my outfit.
Yeah, but the first part did. I just ignored it because you already answered
Okay. We're for real. Okay. Retire in retire.
it. Where would you
Straight up.
retire to?
Wait. Oh, this is a joke question.
Like confusion.
Hold on. Let me answer. Palm Springs. I do right. This is from a game for any of the not in the know. Probably
hot.
7 years ago at a game show, they asked what the best honeymoon state that people go to, and I slammed that buzzer and screamed Palm Springs on the top
did.
of my lungs, and
It was
no
number-
one,
Was it number one?
Confidently.
no one
no.
has let me live it down. It's
No.
followed me to 3 cruises.
I could see it being number one. There's nothing to do in Palm Springs, and that would be.
Yeah.
No, I
Hello.
mean in terms of you're a newlywed couple, you're not pressured to take a off-season gondola.
Look at my
ride.
brother trying to take up for his
Gondola. Yeah.
uneducated
Gondola.
sister. All right,
Well,
next.
funny enough, Julie is from Palm Springs.
We love Palm Springs.
And Julie wants to remind you that rumor has it that you once answered the question on another cruise that your pick of places to retire is Palm Springs. Is there any truth to that? You would be good company with me and Kelly Ripa.
I don't know you. Oh,
You
well,
know
hell
Julie.
yeah.
You know Julie.
Yeah, no, yes, ma'am. Me, you, and Kelly, we'd kill it.
Would you please stop offering our sister employment? But she's
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
booked.
I'm just suggesting fun jobs. Nobody's handing me any money.
No, she pulled the Kelly Ripa card. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, she pulled the Kelly Ripa
Oh,
card.
you know what? They're getting a little, because we have a podcast, and
Yeah.
I'm their co-hostess on there. We wouldn't want me over with Kelly and Julie, would we?
No. Don't ruin the family. Bob, this one's directly for you.
I'm ready.
Directly for Bob.
All right.
This is from Charles from
Charlie.
Oceanside, California. Did you know you had another brother from another mother, born 8/26/49?
You know, I can answer that. What's his name? Marty?
Charles.
Charles.
Close.
Charles.
Very close. You clearly aren't
I
psychic.
deduced that your birthday is 8/26/49. Okay, and you're my brother from another mother. But you got to understand, every year I'm on the road on this Happy Together tour, 10 years in a row, and my birthday's in August. So I get, someone's going to send me the little clipping, and the little paper said, born on this day is Bob Cowsill and 3-4 other famous names. And I go, why are so few famous people born on this day where they get, no, hey, one of the Cowsills are here, we could use him. Okay. You know, it's like, my God. You know,
No,
it's
I know how that
So I
happens.
take it off for all of us, Charles. I take it for all of us, the 826ers, all right?
But can we also say a little something? And I think we're all old enough to handle this material, but my dad was a sailor, so you very well could be our brother from another mother. And they're not saying it, but we've been waiting for years for
What do you think
droves
about
of people
that?
to come up and tell us
Yeah.
they're
23andMe has
with
been
a big
knocking
gap,
on the door.
little gap tooth, you know, black hair, old big brown eyes. Well, I think we're
Our
related.
dad was capable. Listen, our father, when we were babies, was tattooed from ankle to neck with women up his leg. But you know how you know all your tattoos, and well, this is in Mount Favor, and this is in honor of this, and you asked our dad, he said, I don't know where I got
No,
them.
Dad
Some
told me-
drunken night in Shanghai.
No, he
But
never
he was
told.
a sailor.
No, he told me that he was captured by the Vietnamese or the
Oh,
Khmer,
Susan.
and he was tortured, and then he only put mother on.
The
He told me some great
Vietnamese,
story.
that was my war, not Dad's.
Oh, I'm younger than you, Bob.
All right.
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, yeah, me. Debbie is from Virginia, and she said, Paul is being way too quiet. To Paul,
We're Virginians.
can or will you tell us a little bit about your farm and how or why you became a farmer?
No.
Yes, I will tell you, me and Bob were both born at the Portsmouth Naval Hospital in Norfolk, Virginia.
Without
So we are
Charles.
Virginians. And what was the question?
Life on the farm.
Okay, so
I need a
Very-
teleprompter up here next time, Swift. This is
got
good.
married decades ago, and my lovely bride, Luann, looks at me and she goes, hey, don't let me die in the city. I went, oh, okay. And we're both city people, you know, and it was easy to go, don't worry about it. We've got that covered. Well, anyway, so time goes by, and 30 years later, her company moves from San Diego to Orange County. And so her company goes, well, just go buy a house in Orange County. Well, we couldn't afford, we wouldn't qualify for a house in Orange County. So what we did was, I had a friend up north in Oregon, and I said, dude, go find pictures of a farm or someplace that we can move into. And so he took a picture of a farm that was for sale, and he sent it to me. And so I put it up on the refrigerator in May, and I said to Luann, we got to be out of here by next May. And so we would have to sell our house that we had that I thought I'd never leave. And so then all of a sudden we got this farm, and it's an interesting thing because we did it in '05, okay? And in '05, everybody was upside down in their mortgages, you know? And we loved our house. And when we buy a house, man, we're going to stay there forever. But this was a situation where we had to get out of town. And so that was the moment. So I said, Luann, let's go get a farm in Oregon, because we loved Oregon. We used to go camping, and it was so clean. The campsites were clean, and it was just a beautiful thing. And so we put it up on that year, and we made the mark. And so, and the funny thing was, we bought the house in San Diego for like $190,000, and 3 years later, it sold for $250 because of all that rigmarole. A guy came in, he goes, yeah, you know, I want to buy your place, but you got to use, you know, the same financing company as me. And I'm going, do it, dude, do it. Yeah, you're good. And so our neighbor, 6 months later, that guy lost the house because he said, yeah, my brother, countrywide, and I was countrywide, everybody was countrywide. And so he said, yeah, so my brother's going to do it. And I go, dude, yeah, have at it, man, have at it. And me and Luann, we got out of there, and a month later, he lost the house, and he also had like this huge mobile home and this whole bus, and I had done the whole interior, and I'm a carpenter and a tile guy, and it was just key ready, and he tore, the neighbor told us, he tore the whole kitchen out of all the ceramic tile and everything, and I don't know what happened to the house
I
after
hope
that.
you're happy, ma'am. Keep going, Paul.
But yeah, but the farm is great. When we moved to the farm, I felt like I gave myself another 10 years on this planet.
And we're all happy.
Because it was so quiet. Susan, be quiet. I don't jam on you. And anyway, so thanks for asking about the farm. We love it. We've had horses, we got cows, we got chickens, we got dogs, we got cats, and yeah.
That was Debbie from Virginia. Hope you got all that, Debbie. Debbie got more than she bargained for in that. That was fantastic.
But are you close enough to a gallon of milk when you need it?
That's the ultimate.
We're a little far from any kind of store, but that's okay.
This is not a question, but a comment. Lucy Knopp, is that correct, Lucy? Is that correct, Lucy Knopp? From Susan, where is she?
Right there.
Right there, good call. From Russell, Kansas. I don't have a question, but in 1972, the group came to a girls' Catholic school.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
Marion High in Hayes, Kansas. The whole school was in love with Barry.
Ew,
they
good
all
old
were.
B-boy.
No way,
No. We never noticed that, did we?
But, you guys were a blast and one of the most fun groups ever to watch. Oh,
She's right about Barry and Tom.
Thank you. And
They
Barry
were-
was very cute.
They were in the team mags way more than me and Paul were.
Absolutely, and they were right in that wheelhouse of all these young fans.
They were the Biebers of their time.
They-
And
yeah.
they had the hair first.
Barry and Tom were loved.
The Biebers of their
They
time.
were. They had Bieber hair before Bieber.
They did.
Give me a break.
Bieber hair.
But so did, like, Timmy from Lassie.
Yeah, that's true.
John
So-
Provost
I
had
mean,
Bieber hair.
technically, so did Lassie. So,
Right, but we're the Bieber kind of people that don't get mixed up with P. Diddy.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, no. Moving right along.
Yep.
All right, Jay, quick.
Next question.
Current events.
I think we're all old enough. Keep going,
I
Jay.
think we are all of it. Actually, this is a great one. This is for each of you individually. Dave and Penny come to us from Waldorf, Maryland.
We love our Dave and Penny. There we
Yeah,
are.
yeah. And Dave and Penny have fantastic writing, whichever one of you wrote this.
I feel it's Penny Dave.
Please, Penny Dave, please ask Susan, Paul, and Bob individually, other than being musicians, was there a career or profession they would have pursued?
Well, I'll go first because I've already mentioned it, but I would have been a sports guy. I swear to God, Dave. Hey, Dave, Penny, we love you guys so much.
We
And
do.
You come to every cruise, and you just, as soon as I see you guys, I feel more at home. Because this was a different cruise for us, a Malt Shop.
Very.
And then I saw Dave yesterday. I was
Familiar
out
faces.
watching the show, and he gave me a wave, and Penny was there, and so thank you.
They're
for
ambassadors
making
of
us
all
feel
these-
really comfortable on all these cruises. We finally learned your names, you know what I mean?
And it took a while because we are those
That's the
people.
ultimate compliment.
So sports.
Totally just sports? Nothing else. Okay. Okay.
What were you going to
Tile
be
setter.
other than this?
Yeah,
other
well,
than
you
music?
go. What were you going
Why
to be?
do I have to go?
Okay,
Go down the
okay,
road.
okay.
I'm thinking.
First of all, I love this question because we ask it on our podcast of our stars because some people wanted to do something else, like me. But I wouldn't have ever not done this with them because I'd have been left behind. I would have loved to have been a veterinarian or like a kindergarten teacher or like run a stables or something of that nature.
Or a psychic?
I would. It's not. No, it is not too late.
It's never
Trust
too
me.
late.
I also. Well, I won't say that. It's just too weird. So yeah, that's the
At this point, I don't think anything is too weird. Go for it.
Okay, well, I actually thoroughly enjoy transitioning with people who are heading to the other side. I like sitting side saddle to that, and it is something I do. Just saying it.
That takes a special kind of human
It's
to
just
do
a thing. Yeah, very special and slightly strange perhaps.
Very-
But we'll move.
No, but-
let's move along. That's
no,
just.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't think that's a
Jason.
thing to necessarily dodge. I think that's wonderful, and I think that's a thing that we are short of in this world in a lot
Well,
of
I
ways.
like to say everybody wants to go to the hospital to see the new baby,
Sure.
but nobody wants to say goodbye to his old.
That's what
bud.
I mean.
Oh my goodness.
We're short on that in
Yeah.
our society in a lot of ways. We tend to ignore and start to push away
Yep.
the folks that are on the near the other side.
And if you live on my block, you can't escape.
Apparently not. Call Susan.
yeah.
Susan will
Yeah,
come by.
these guys are terrified of me. They don't want me to know anything about what's happening for them. We're fine. Go away.
Every time you knock on their door, no.
This one especially.
I think really Susan, she goes, what were you calling yourself, a healer or?
No, they call it a death doula, not real
Okay,
pretty.
I think you really are just a quantum physics person.
Okay. I
Because
can
when
go
she
with
says
that.
crossover, I think it's just like right to the other side of the street
So
where
do
we're
I.
all running up and down that.
Yeah, and there's several
Kinda
people
that.
dressed in as varying
It's
degrees
kinda
of
that.
dress, and you go to the one you're happy with.
This is
Go.
valid.
All right, that's Bob Cowsills.
Bob.
What did you want to
Oh,
be?
me. Well, I was going to be, this is going to sound like a Seinfeld episode, but I was going to be a cell biologist, okay? And I took it all the way to my senior year in college when the universe decided I was going to do something else yet again. So I dropped out of college. I didn't drop out. I turned microbial physiology, virology, and cell biology, those three last classes for my science degree, into 3 softball classes because I'd had it. And I bought a big red aluminum 34-ounce softball bat, and man, I was in double headers because I just transferred into 3 softball classes and played softball my last year of college and gave up on trying to cure anything in the lab with a white coat on.
You would have been amazing, and I didn't know you really would have done that and wanted to do
Yeah,
it.
I
That's
spent my
awesome.
whole senior year discovering
That's awesome.
and talking about vitamins. And at the end of the 6 months discovering vitamins, the conclusion was a 1 a day is just fine. You're gonna pee whatever out you want.
And to this day,
It's true.
this cat has a 1 a day. We've got, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday thing, and he's all Mr.
Bob's
1 a
just
day.
on the men's 1
Yeah,
a day.
he still drinks Kool-Aid.
No, I
thinks
didn't
it's
do that,
good
but
for
that's
him.
okay.
The Flintstone vitamins.
That's what I learned in school. And the fact that a virus that gets into a cell can really cause some damage. And that came later, but we saw a
Right.
film of that.
This
That
is
was
fair.
scary.
We saw it
Okay,
in
there you
action
go.
a few
Next.
years ago.
I have one final question before we let you guys get out of here. You have a podcast, and I think that's fantastic.
The
A,
Cowsills podcast.
where can people find it?
Everywhere podcasts are found.
It's called?
The
Cowsills
Cowsills podcast.
There you go. How easy is that? See, the Cowsills is their last name, Nina, and that's how they got there. I'm joking, teasing you.
We also have a radio show every week at noon and 10 p.m. on 97.9 The River out of West Virginia called the Cowsill Chronicles.
Chronicles.
Yeah.
So we're counseling everywhere.
You're counseling. When you are counseling as a counselor, if you will, or whatever you're doing on your podcast, when you're talking to folks, you mentioned a question you like to ask is what else would you have done? What's your favorite question to ask your stars when you have them on your podcast? What's a go-to for you guys?
I mean, for me, it is that. I want to know.
That's your go-to.
When, you're 3 or 4 years old, you're not like, I want to be Elvis. Or maybe Elvis. You know what I mean? I mean, some people do, and they will tell you, no, I'm not. Miami Steve, little Steven, the soprano dude, I said, what did you want to be other than a musician? He said, out of jail.
Fair enough.
As his other goal.
Fair enough. I mean,
Yeah,
a
for
valuable
real, though.
goal.
Yeah. So, Paul, what did you want to?
No. Paul, what do you have a favorite question for the podcast that you like to ask people?
Well, it's funny because Jason was mentioning to us earlier about this occasion that he runs, and he deep dives people. And so I guess the joy of the podcast for me is the night before, or even when we know this person's going to be coming on, to go on in and deep dive it. And then that's where the questions for me come out of, and I'll read everything and I'm deep and diving, and I'll come up and I'll go, so Steve, why did you leave Bruce Springsteen?
I'm like, what?
And Steve's answer was, I hated doing sound checks.
Seems valid.
Oh my God, Bill Medley's on this boat. Sorry,
Bill
I digressed.
Yeah. He is. Bill and Bucky are coming.
I'm sorry. Go Bob.
Bucky, yeah.
Yeah. Bob, what is your favorite question to
Oh,
ask people?
other than finding out, because we've got 148 episodes, and we have interviewed pretty much everyone that you've
Including
seen
Bill
perform,
Medley.
including Bill Medley. But anyway, we love when we hear something that we didn't know, because
Yeah.
you know we're colleagues, so we're real hip to these histories. A lot of them as they come in, and so on top of that, I do like when Susan starts them up, and I get to hear about their childhood, and especially where they transition from I'm this kind of kid to I got my guitar or my instrument, or I heard something and that flipped a switch in me. That's the fun stuff. Stories like that are real cool.
And Susan always starts it up, so, really, and she asks the great question,
Well, it just, it's the one we don't know the answer to. Who were you before you were the guy we all know and love, or the person, It's like, I know, we
Absolutely.
all start somewhere. And
Who
some
were
of
you
us,
before you were you?
Yeah, who were you before you were you? Wow, the Malt Shop is
Well, I was
deep.
Susan Day, I guess.
Correct. And I am Suzanne Crowe. And Bob, I believe you're Keith. Oh,
I don't know.
I know you are.
I'll take a chunk of Keith.
Actually,
He's a handsome
Keith was
king
combo.
star.
Keith was a combo of Bob.
Yeah, we think Keith would have been,
Bob and
David
Bill.
Cassidy would have been famous even we're convinced without the Partridge
Oh,
Family.
no kidding.
Now, because he got famous because of the Partridge Family, that messed him up a little in life, and it really did.
It messed me up
And
because it
shouldn't
was
have,
cute.
But it did, and that's okay.
I'm looking at this show going, I feel
We now
weird.
speak for the Partridge Family, so any Partridge questions you're allowed to
Yeah,
ask
please,
us.
please.
They're all dead.
No, Danny's still with
Is
us.
Shirley with us? She's 90.
Shirley's
that's
still
right.
here and Dan's still here.
Susan Day's still here.
Yeah.
Susan, Dan, and Shirley. We love these people. We
They're-
digress. We'll digress
No,
for the
no,
rest
no.
of the day.
Do not. No, you won't. First of all, it's a lie. Secondly, do not ever digress. It's important. People are here to see you and hear you. The last thing, and then we'll go. You have a show tonight at 10:30, as we just mentioned. What can people expect from a Cowsills show on the Malt Shop Memories Cruise?
Well, 4 of the songs have to be our hit records. Kind of by definition, you know about that. So, now
We can
beyond
talk about
that,
that.
what do we do?
Like, how long are most of those songs?
Yeah.
3 minutes. We
Okay,
can
so
fly.
3,
It's 2
6,
minutes and
9, 10,
12
11, 12.
seconds.
So you just have to
For
film
an
another
hour.
hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get to do what you know what we all do. Each other's songs, you
Yep.
know this, and I have our own version of what covers do we want to do from that time frame and where we're all from that we loved, wished it was our hit, wished we wrote it, all kinds of reasons. There's good vocals in it, so those songs are in the show. Also, early '60s for the Cowsills was a folk music event. We have the Newport Folk Festival every summer. We were all locked in on folk music. It was a great, great time. And this is like talking 62, 60. So we'll bring some of that out in the show also. And then we'll sing Hair Last because that was our biggest hit. We don't want to confuse you people. If we do it first, you're going to leave. You're going to leave. You go, well, that was our biggest hit. I guess we're out of here.
Well, it's funny
Save
because
me an hour.
a lot of people don't believe we start our show with Rain in the Park, and people come up to it and go, wow, why would you do that?
We're just going to do it for the whole hour. So just have a seat. What part did you miss?
It was chronological.
And what they're saying is, why would you do that? You've only had 4 hits. You're going to give one up in the beginning?
We're not dumb. We know what we're
Good
doing.
Lord.
Gotta
Anyway,
space them out.
Yeah.
We're going to have a folk section in our show
Yeah.
for this
Yeah,
cruise.
for the
and
Malt
it's a
Shop
lot of
Memories.
fun, a lot of fun.
I have.
Joni Mitchell. No, not on this.
Not quite right. I've got to say, I've been blessed to know you, the 3 of you now for years and years and years, and
amazing.
it is always such an absolute treat to get you on the cruises that you're usually on. It is a real honor to have you on the Malt Shop Cruise. It is
We
about
are-
time we have you.
We
Thank you.
feel
Thank you guys.
exactly
We
the
are
same.
honored to be able to have that happen.
And I want y'all to know something. Like the acts are great. You guys are amazing. None of us could do this without all of these guys because they are truly the. I sound like a TV show.
you do. We're on one,
But
so
they,
it's okay.
I was
Yeah, it's
just
all right.
gonna say, I'm so old now. They are the glue that makes this stick together. Okay, that's what I want you to know. But it's true.
Yeah, and it is true.
Yeah.
And again, and tell your friends out there, we are approachable, okay? We
Yeah,
are
come on
you.
up.
On these cruises, we are you. We just happen to do an hour set every now and then. Otherwise, we're in the pit with y'all, and we're dancing, and we're partying.
But
and
if I eat the beet and basil, and I have the basil in my tooth, please tell me. Okay, because
There you go.
you can't monitor that when you're cruising around.
You have the right to tell Susan she has things in her teeth, and be
Please
warned,
do.
if you dance too close to Paul, he might pop you in the mouth.
Oh my God.
There you go. Ask Penny and
A
Dave.
little bit of one. Penny and Dave have been there. Penny and Dave know. You guys are going to sign some autographs
We
for
are,
us. Yes,
and we're gonna sign them out there.
Yeah.
And I told one guy I'd do it after. Do you mind going out there?
I
with
will.
us?
I will walk them through it. I love you three. Let me walk them through it so we don't
We'll
get
see you at the
confused.
meet and greet then. If you go, guys, we'll sign that. Yeah.
Bob, let me do it. Bob, let me do it.
Oh,
when we
I
end
forgot.
these
I was
events,
something, Jason,
you
right.
were taking over. When we end any of our All Access Pass, if they're going to sign for us, it's going to be out that door there. There is a line there. Sandy in the red shirt, Sandy from Star Vista is just over there. She'll help line you up, and I'll take these three fabulous individuals back there. Do me a favor, please help me thank Paul, Bob, and Susan. The Cowsills. Thanks so much, my friends. Have a great afternoon.